There, welcome to week two. I hope you're doing well. Um, as you can see, we've got our first essay coming up, but let me take you step by step and try to emphasize as much as possible that I don't want you to let this be a source of stress because of the type of essay and the things I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and go page by page and take a look. Um, Once you're done here with the opening lecture, there is no check-in this week, but you do need to mark it done. If you are on the desktop version, there should be a button in one of the corners that says mark done. If you are on the mobile version, I believe there are three dots on your screen where you can click mark done. But you can see there's that prerequisite there, the other prerequisites. Um, in order for you to go through this. One more thing before I go take you page by page. You can see how I indent some of the things. That is another way of me telling you that, you know, you need this to help you understand this. You need this to help you understand this. You need this to help you understand this, et cetera, et cetera. So again, navigating through the modules, following the order the information is presented in the modules. Yeah. After you mark the opening lecture, you've marked it done. This page is the next one you're going to see, and these are assigned texts for this week. Um, it's about active reading strategies. So we want to not just read to comprehend, but we want to read to start analyzing and even critiquing. So evaluating what we read. I choose things because I want to get information to you. They aren't necessarily my favorite things. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of how they're written, but they have the content that I want communicated to you. So again, from our textbooks, so this links you to the textbook, and these are the actual parts you want to read. So in part one, working with text, there's this section called "What is a text?" and it reminds you of how I use the word text, how I use it here, and how it's used in other academic settings. These are sections from building strong reading skills. So kind of here again are some overviews for you when you're thinking, why is she having us read this? These kind of help clue you in of why I want you to read these sections, what I want you to get out of them. And then these texts, reading critically, exploring the structure, and analyzing content and rhetoric. Not that nothing's important and not that everything's important, but I really want you to take your time and go through and understand what it means to be a critical reader, what it means to look at the structure, what it means to analyze content and rhetoric, and try to make sense of it yourself, and for you to extract from there what you felt was the most important messages from those sections. Then you have a video to watch called Finding Main Ideas and Supporting Detail. And this is going to help you as an active reader understanding what the writer's main point is versus their supporting details. And that understanding what the main points are helps you understand the structure of a reading. And then understanding the details shows you how the writer works to prove their point, how they're illustrating each main point. And so that's going to help you as you become an active reader and take notes on future reading. So keep scrolling down the page. There's additional text. So these are our textbook readings. These are all strategies to help you be a stronger active reader. And then these texts are the things we're going to talk about, our topic text. So we have textbook, text, and then topic text. And so we're going to talk about the power of literacy. And so you're going to read chapter 7 of the Narrative of Life of Frederick Douglass. There's a link to it here, and there's also a PDF version. Then you're going to watch this video. Writing is the only magic I still believe in. And we're going to also talk about these in this week's discussion. Here's where you want to make sure you share your authentic point of view of these. As you read these, you want to understand what the main points were versus the minor details or supporting details. This is where you want to analyze and evaluate. Did you like the text and why? Did you not like it and why? Did you like some of it and not other parts of it, and why? Was there one thing that stood out, or did nothing stand out? Was it boring, and why so? Um, um, Even when we're assigned something to read, and even if it's boring, typically your professor assigned it to you because they want you to get the message out of it. And at least in this course, I want you to formulate an opinion of whether you liked it or not. Again, these aren't texts that are necessarily my favorite, but I think they have important messages. One last thing to prepare for this week's discussion, you are going to find a written text. And so it can be fiction or nonfiction. It can have pictures, but there should still be words. And so you can read about what are the criteria of the text I'm asking you to bring, because you're gonna share it with the class in this week's discussion. And so that's what's on the next page is our discussion about the power of literacy. And you have two dates. Your initial post due on the 20th, and then reply to classmates by the 23rd. So part one is due on the 20th. For number one, you choose A or B. Sorry, I saw another mistake here, so I'm gonna fix that. Okay, sorry about those mistakes, but I also want you to see that as many times as I taught this course and even used questions from previous semesters, I do change them from semester to semester, which is why there was mistakes in there. And then, of course, as much as we proofread our own stuff, we can never catch our own mistakes. And so it takes me several drafts to get what students finally see on the screen. So for number one, choose A or B. Number two, there's make sure you read all the things it's asking you, um, sharing the text that you found. And then this kind of gets us thinking about how last week connects to this week. Um, Again, here you answer A or B. And then part two is replying to your classmates. And remember all the things from week one about replying and about in these discussions, just bringing your authentic self to the discussions. So those assigned text from the textbook, the topic text, the discussion is all preparing you for this week's essay. Now, essay one is timed, and you'll see how it's set up before you actually start the timer. This is our prompt. This is the instruction. So don't start writing your essay as you read this. That's not what you want to do. I've had students do that. These are just the instructions. This is going to tell you all about the assignment. Um, and I will guide you after this page what you need to do to complete this essay. It is a diagnostic. And what that means is you are going to write this essay showing me the skills you bring to the class, the skills you have right now. And I grade it with that in mind. So if it's been a long time since you've written an essay, if you've never written an essay, you're just going to do the best you can so I can see what you can do. Now, it's not just an essay about anything. Like I said, the readings, the text, the discussion, all preparing you for that. So read the task, read the requirements. It's a lot, I know. Read the points, break down, and then watch this video where I go through this assignment. So I don't want to do it all in this video. I have a separate video where I go through and decode the prompt, is what I call it, and kind of elaborate on different things and remind you that this is a diagnostic. So the reason why you shouldn't stress out about this essay is because you have the skills you need to write it. Whatever your skills are, those are the skills you need to write this essay. And so if you've never written an essay, it's been a long time since you've written an essay. I told you you're not allowed to think of yourself as a bad writer. But if you think you're bad at writing essays, those are all the things you need to write this essay. So that's the instructions. The next page will be showing you how to get ready to write this essay. That's why when you read the prompt, don't start writing the essay then. Just read the instructions. You've read the instructions. Now I'm going to explain to you how to prepare for it. And so these are pre-writing and planning instructions. Pre-writing and planning in this course are two separate stages of the writing process. And so that's what this lecture will tell you about. It'll give you some strategies to help you pre-write. So pre-writing is just the thinking part. Planning is the stage where we actually start to put our ideas in order and get rid of bad ideas. And this lecture will also show you What it's going to look like. You're going to go through all this, but I just want you to see as you're curious, like what's it going to look like when I write the essay? Where do I turn in my pre-writing and planning? And so this lecture will tell you where you're going to turn your pre-writing and planning and where you're going to write the essay. And I even have an example. So make sure you go through all this information. I'm putting this all in here, and again, not to give you a lot of work, but to help you prepare. Now, once you've prepared by reading the prompt, doing some pre-writing, doing some planning, now you want to get to this part where it says write essay one here. And you can see the timer's running. So once you click, I think it says take quiz, the timer starts and you have about 5 hours to write it. Um, and so this is where you actually write. You should enter this section having read the prompt, having done the pre-writing, having done the planning. And of course, you can't do all those things until you've read the text and discussed them, because um, the Frederick Douglass text and that writing is only a magic I still believe in video. Those are your sources for this essay. So you're going to go through here. This is where you're actually going to write the essay and start the timer. But don't start the timer until you've done everything else in the module to prepare you for this. Now, if there's a power outage, your Wi-Fi goes out, your Wi-Fi is really slow, you do have multiple attempts. There's 3 attempts. Or if you write your essay and you don't like it and you still have 2 attempts, you can rewrite it. So um, one of the important things about this essay is I need to see how long it takes you to write this essay. Your time is a key piece of data for me. So there are many ways you can easily cheat and write the essay beforehand, but that defeats the purpose. It gives me false data. It makes me think that you're really good at writing timed essays in a really, really short amount of time. And that skews the way I then teach the course from this point. So don't stress out about this essay. Don't procrastinate. Just show me what you can do now. And if you write the essay and you're just like, I completely bombed, I don't know how to write an essay, you're not going to fail it. If you try to do all the parts, um, you get your points. I'll still give you feedback on it, but you're not going to get penalized because you might not have the college level essay writing skills that someone would have at the end of this course. So if you stress out about essay one, you're doing it wrong. But if you come to this essay using the skills you already have, then you're doing it right, whatever those skills may be. One last thing when it comes to writing essay one, it's more about following the instructions, trying to meet all the requirements more than it is um, writing a glowing example of the requirements. It's all about following directions and trying to meet the requirements, regardless of the quality or how well you actually did so. Again, diagnostic. Think of essay one as, and I think I say this in the other video, is going to the gym for the first time in your life. You don't go in and you don't, hit the heavy weights and run 5 miles. Someone assess your current fitness level. So think of essay one as assessing your current essay writing fitness level. I got to see what you can do so that I can better prepare the rest of the course for you. So you'll end the week with a self-reflection. Again, I always remind you the importance of reflection. Um, self-assess how well you met the objectives, and if you feel that you were a little weak, that's fine, but reach out, ask me for help, ask me for supplemental information, ask me for an alternate explanation. And starting in week 3, I will have office hours on select Tuesdays via Zoom. So office hours just means it's time your professor sets aside to help students. It's kind of like my tutoring hour. You can drop in and ask one question and leave. You can drop in, say hi, chat, whatever it is you need. I've had students who sat with me as I take them every page through the module. I've had students who sat with me and we get out and go on with these long conversations after they get their initial questions. I have students come in for 30 seconds, get a quick question answered, and they say goodbye. Um, if that doesn't work out for you, whether the time doesn't work, you're not comfortable dropping in Zoom with me, please get help from a tutor if you need help. And then, of course, there's the non-academic services. So that is week two. Thank you for your time and letting me walk you step by step. Again, trying to balance enough information so everything's clear and you succeed, but not overwhelming you. So if you finish these videos and you're overwhelmed, let me know. Remember, you can always rewind and rewatch and pause or read the captions. If you've gone through all information and it's still confusing, also please let me know because there are other ways I can try to communicate the information to you. And I'm always happy to create customized videos for each specific assignment or assigned readings. If there's something you need, let me know. I can't help you until you let me know the things that I can provide because there's lots of things I can do to help you grapple with the information. All right, take care. Have a good week.